Don't use AI to, look, maybe you need an idea, maybe grammar checker and all that, but use your own voice, because when you network and when they meet you, if you sound totally different, you're not saying in a world where rocket emoji and stuff. In person, people are gonna be confused. So I used to do 100 comments a day. I did it for months and months. That has still benefited me to this day. People still assume I do 100 comments a day. So even if I do 20 comments a day, it still has that impact, like, yo, Junaid is that guy that comments. Now what happens is some people will comment back, right? When I start creating content, some people will comment back and people are like, yo, this is Junaid, and your headline goes across. So my headline says nodegree.com. So you want to leave comments. So if you're a product manager, you're whatever, have a good headline. Then people will view your profile. People will check you out and people will be like, hey, Chris, what are you up to? I like your podcast. And use this. And then let's say you listen to Chris's podcast. So be like, hey, Chris, I'm a big fan of your show. I really love. And then now it's like, wow, thanks. Like when people message me, they're like, wow, like I'm like, oh my God, you listen to, like I have a, over 300,000 downloads, but still every person, every note is special. So it's like those type of things, and you keep doing it, then you start getting on calls, and then you ask for intros to other people. Like, hey, you know what? I'm trying to learn more about this. Do you have anybody who you should intro me to? And you keep doing that. And that's how you do it online. I have 44,000 followers, but I'm still friends with the first 2,000. That first 2,000, I'm friends with them. Like one of them taught me how to write resumes. He taught me how to increase prices. And I've stayed at their houses. Like when I go to Canada, I can meet these people. They've met me on this side of the world. And so that first 2,000 will just help you in so many ways. And what I say is leave thoughtful comments. Show that you read your post. Leave something. Leave a different perspective. Further add on. And then you never know. Sometimes it's not even the poster. Someone else reads that comment and they like it, right? And keep doing that, and you're gonna say it pays dividends years down. Like I've met people on Twitter, I've met people way bigger than me, and it's just interesting because it just all started through comments. Don't ask a question that takes a long time to answer. So for example, just because a question you ask is very simple, it has complex answers. So if you're gonna ask for advice, ask for specific advice. Be like, hey, how'd you become a product manager in payments? What thing did you do? Versus how did you become a product manager? Then it's like an hour-long story. Like, yo, I did this, I did that. So what I would say is, and also before that, search them up. Look at their posts, look at their blogs, see if they've been on any podcasts. Listen to them. So then when you ask, you don't ask the same questions that they get asked all day long. And then the other thing I want to say is the reason you don't ask for a job, because if someone asks me for a job, I'm not like, yes, I'm this job store and I've been sitting on this job for 3 months. I didn't know who to give it to, but thank you so much. So here's this job. That's not it. The fact is, when I get a job, I'm gonna go to my network. I may be like, hey, do you know anyone who's looking for this? I know someone who's hiring for that. So the fact is, you need to build relationships with people so that when they get jobs, they think of you. And that's why you need to be very specific about what you're looking for, and you need to be targeted, and you need to be engaged. And I would say, depending on who you reach out to, if you're reaching out to someone like me, engage with me a few times, then reach out. If you're engaging with someone who has like, maybe 1,000 to 5,000 followers, hey, few comments, you're good. If you're engaging with someone who's like 100K, you're gonna need to build more relationship. Their inboxes are crazy because they're getting so much in sales that they're gonna be like, look, I'm really busy. And same thing, if someone just newly interacts with me, I'll be like, hey, are you looking for free advice or something? I'll be like, free advice, go to a podcast. Paid advice, here's how it works. However, if someone has interacted with me for some time and they're supporting me, I'll be like, cool, I'm more than happy to hop on an intro call and answer some initial questions within reason. So it's all about, you have to think about who you're going for and the value you need to bring. And put yourself in their shoes. Like, is their inbox crazy? How much time? Like the other day, last week, I spent 3 hours answering comments from my post and the comments I missed for like the last 2-3 weeks. That's how long it takes, these things take time. You should always use both, because I use online to meet people in person. I use in person to connect them online. So just realize that you have to use both. And if you're not using both, you're gonna hurt yourself, because you meet people maybe once every few months, year, but I can interact with you all the time. I can interact with you multiple times so that when we meet up, it happens. And look, we're gonna meet up next week. That's the funny thing. We're going to meet up next week, but it's because of something online. So I would say you have to leverage both and you have to tie it together because networking is like this web where you have to connect the dots. So now let's go in person. So people say they go to get an MBA for the network, right? And let's say you get a cheap MBA, 80K. What I'll say is one of the best pieces of networking advice is find one person, say, hey, I really like what you're doing. I'm really trying to grow in my career. Would you be open to meeting up for dinner next week? It's on me. And look, this is something that you could do like a $50, let's say $100 because things are expensive. So $100, you do that once a week, you're spending $5,200 in a year. You do that for 4 years, you're still only spending $20K. I guarantee you'll get better than a $20K ROI from that. This is a great way that you can meet a lot of people and just follow up. And the ones you really connect with, you start off so differently. Because I meet so many people who network, they don't follow up, and I'm busy, and it's like, yo, I'm not trying to do all this. But if someone's like offering me dinner, 100%. Now, look, you have to be a little mindful of safety reasons. So if you don't feel comfortable in all that, at any point, feel free to pull out. But use this, get intros, and from that dinner, just be like, hey, do you know anybody else who I could be talked to? Dinner's on me. I'd really appreciate it. And then how you want to connect this, the one piece that you have to connect this is networking is not about yourself, it's about others. Yes, we do it for ourselves, but you have to do it for others. What I have found is the more I give, the more I receive. However, you have to give within reason. You also have to, it's kind of give, and you have to get. Now, if I gave everyone $1,000 in networking, I'd be phenomenal in networking, right? Everybody would love me, this and that. I'm just gonna run out of money by next week. However, if you're like, I can get you Bill Gates, I can get you Mark Zuckerberg, I can get you Michael Phelps on your podcast, right? These are all people without degrees who have done very well for themselves. And you'd be like, hey, but you just gotta pay $1,000 because you gotta go to the conference. But if you go in, I know the guy, I can hook you up. I would pay $1,000 for that. So there are some opportunities and some things that are worth $1,000, like, right? You're going to a conference, you have to pay tickets, but that is worth that ticket price, whatever it is. However, we have limited time and resources. We can't just go giving out money, just going to every conference here and there. We have lives to live. Now, to get around that, you have to find something that you can give that's low cost to you, but high value to someone else. And oftentimes, that's information. The right information to the right person at the right time is worth a lot of money.